What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today's game is against ChopSuey55, and it's another UU game because you. And I'm just gonna do this in this take because I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna do it in one take because I'm not bothered to do another one. So in comes the prick of pricks, as Sableye. I knew he was gonna lead with Ambipom because Ambipom is such an obvious lead on any team because it's Ambipom and it fake outs and stuff. So I get the free opportunity to set up a sub as he switches to Darmanitan, which is very nice because it allows me to throw a confused ray onto him. Maybe he'll hit himself and therefore won't be able to take out my sub, which is kind of my plan. See how much damage he does to himself, and depending on how much damage he does to himself, I can judge whether he's life orbed or banded or scarfed or anything of that kind of nature. And it does quite a lot. I'm not quite sure if that would be banded or not, but it's definitely going to be a lot of damage. He's actually going to U-turn. I thought he might switch, which is why I go for the Will-O-Wisp. In fact, actually, I just went for the Will-O-Wisp because I didn't actually have anything else to do, because, I mean, none of my other moves would have been very useful. There's no point in recovering. If I need to recover stall later, then we don't want to be wasting PP. So, in comes Jolteon. I'm going to sub up on this thing just to see what it does, and it decides to Volt Switch. So he's got a bit of Volt Switch U-turning going on. It's not quite as potent as the OU Rotom Wash Scizor combination, but you know, Darmanitan and Jolteon do work well as a U-turn Volt Switching pair in UU. So in comes Darmanitan again. I'm just going to try and throw a Confuse Ray at it this time because I don't want to be subbing knowing that he's going to break it straight away with U-turn. So I confuse him, hope to hit him in confusion, and he does hit himself again. He's basically taken off half his HP from hitting himself twice, which is pretty fantastic. So I'm relatively happy with that, and it also allows me to set up a sub, which means that I don't have to take damage from the U-turn that he's going to go for right here, which is great. So he just goes for it, breaks the sub, and Sableye just trolling all over him right now. I mean, he hasn't really been able to break me thus far. So he's going to go straight back into his Jolteon. He wants to continue the U-turn Volt Switching shenanigans. And I'm thinking, you know what, there's not much point in staying with Sableye here. He's just going to Volt Switch out, and I don't really want to go for a burn. And the best thing for me to do is to go to Rhyperior. Now, knowing that he has Tangrowth, I'm in fact going to predict his switch and go for the Megahorn. Megahorn was relatively safe because I was pretty sure he was choiced in some way, most likely Specs. And so I go for the Megahorn on Tangrowth, and he lives with what is perhaps the baby of a baby of a baby of a baby of a smidgen, and that makes me so incredibly sad that it's horrible. I predict his switch, choice banded Megahorn, and rips a fucking arrow-sized hole, which is amplified by 27 through his stomach, and he doesn't die. And because I'm afraid of Sleep Powder, and I'm afraid of the fact that I'm going to be slower, I go into Sableye to take the Sleep Powder, and then I go into Darmanitan to try and kill him with a Flare Blitz, but he goes into Ambipom, so now I'm afraid of the Fake Out. So we're caught up, and in comes Dusclops. Obviously Fake Out is not going to do anything because I'm a Ghost type, which is lovely. I avoid that quite beautifully. As he switches out into his Darmanitan now, I decided to go for the Nightshade because I was pretty sure he would predict the Will-O-Wisp and therefore go to Darmanitan to try and take advantage of that. But he's going to U-turn here. I would say it was a relatively strange play. I would have gone for the Flare Blitz myself because, I mean, Rhyperior is the only thing that resists it, and he could have killed something else on the switch. But whatever, doesn't really matter. He's going to bring in Ambipom, and I did not see this coming whatsoever. He tricks me with Ambipom. I mean, who ever thinks that possibility is a possibility? But he does. He tricks me a choice band with Ambipom, and that is not good because I'm stuck on Will-O-Wisp now, and he's going to be able to bring in Darmanitan. I was pretty sure he was going to do that, therefore I switched into Sableye, and I mean, I wouldn't want to stay in with a choice banded Darmanitan. So both my walls, apart from Registeel, are pretty much fucked right now because I'm choice banded with Dusclops and my Sableye is asleep. So I went into Sableye, obviously, as he goes to Darmanitan, and I don't really know what he wants to do, but I'm just going to go back to Dusclops because it allows me to change up my moves here. He's going to go for the Air Slash, and I just decided to disable it on this turn. I just didn't know what he was going to do. He may have gone for a Nasty Plot or something. I don't know, I just wanted to disable whatever he wanted to do. I didn't really want to go for anything else, so that's how that rolls, and he can't air slash me anymore, which is nice. I'm going to go out to Registeel to take the Ominous Wind. You know, Registeel could have taken air slash as well, because resistance and stuff, relatively well. But this Life Orb Togekiss is killing itself slowly. If he just keeps staying in and hitting my Registeel, it's really going to do him no good whatsoever, unless he carries, like, a move that can hit me. I don't know what it would be, but he doesn't seem to. So he's going to switch, which allows me to set up my rocks. In comes Ambipom, which I'm not really too afraid of. I mean, he's burned now, so he's relatively useless. So I wasn't too sure as to why he switched that in. Maybe as a pivot switch, so that he could bring Togekiss back in and not be disabled. But in any case, I'm going to go out to Sauron just on the off chance he wants to go for the low kick or something. And Togekiss comes back in, takes a hefty amount from Stealth Rocks, but my walling core is still intact, so I can simply go to Registeel here. There really isn't too much of a trouble for me to do that, so I'm going to go to Registeel. Life Orb is racking up, Stealth Rock's racking up on him. This Togekiss is pretty much close to death, and he switches again, which just helps me even more, because it means when he comes in again, Stealth Rock's going to take him down even more, which is fantastic. But I'm going to go for the S-Toss as he switches. In comes the Slowbro, which could cause me a bit of trouble if I don't play around it correctly. My plan is kind of to try and slow it down with a Thunder Wave later on, and then try and hit it with either Roserade or Rhyperior with a Mega Horn, dependent on the situation, dependent on what he's doing. So I go into Sableye. I'm not quite sure why I did that. I guess I was afraid of something or other. I really wasn't quite sure, but I go into Sableye for some reason. I guess what I wanted to do here is just go for some kind of Confuse Ray or Will-O-Wisp or something. I'm not quite sure, but I guess I just wanted to wake Sableye up. Probably wasn't the smartest idea, because he's just getting free Calm Minds here. I wasn't that afraid, because I do have Roserade, which can come in and Leaf Storm and do a hefty chunk to it, and then I could probably follow up with the kill with like a Seismic Toss or something with Registeel, but it doesn't really matter, because I wake up, I recover off the damage, and I think I'm going to recover one more time and then switch Sableye back out, just so that I'm at a respectable amount of health. Or maybe I think I just switch out now, because I don't want to get the burn from Scald or anything. So in comes Dusclops again, and yeah, it's just really been a bit of a wally match. I've just been switching between my 3 walls and just trying to wear him down slowly, surely, and trying to get rid of him. But I'm pretty sure Dusclops is a good death fodder at this point. He does have +1, so I'm slightly afraid of him, as it were. It shouldn't be too big a deal to deal with him. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to Darmanitan and U-turn, just to do a nice chunk to him and kind of gauge how defensive he is. And it turns out that it does a relatively decent amount, so I'm not sure if he's got max defense invested. He may well have, judging by the fact he's a Calm Mindset, but he may have thrown a bit into special attacks, so I'm not really sure what his stance is on the EV spread. But I go into Equinox and do what I probably should have done from the start without pissing around with Sableye. That was kind of pointless. I really didn't need to do that, but I managed to T-Wave him as he goes for another Calm Mind. He's at +2 now, so relatively threatening, but I mean, as long as Roserade can come in here, and I'm predicting him to Calm Mind again or to go for the Scald, but he actually packs the Fire Blast, which is gonna roast a raid me. That is gonna roast a raid my Roserade, and that is not tasty whatsoever. But thankfully, I still have Rhyperior, who is choice banded and with Mega Horn misses, but he gets paralyzed. It's okay, so it's fine. But another Mega Horn is going to go for him, smack him straight to the dome, and man, Rhyperior is so fucking powerful. This is a physically defensive Slowbro. That Tangrowth was a physically defensive Tangrowth that almost died to a Mega Horn. RNG screwed me over, but fucking non-stab Mega Horn, one hit KOing Slowbro, which is fantastic. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to go for a hidden power here with Jolteon. At this point, Rhyperior really is not a big deal, so I'm just going to leave it to die and go into Darmanitan. And at this point, it looks like once his Darmanitan has died from rocks, the rest of his team cannot really stand up to a Choice Scarf Flare Blitz. So I'm going to lock myself into the Flare Blitz, and I know that the rest of his guys can't do too much. In comes Ambipom. He's going to try and fake me out. and get the flinch obviously because fake out, but because he's burned and because he removed his own choice band, that's going to do pretty much nothing to me. I'm just going to stay in and Flare Blitz him to death. In comes the Tangrowth. He's going to switch back out to try and get some regenerator and therefore, you know, try and make me get some more recall on myself, but he goes into Togekiss. Thankfully Togekiss has a small amount of HP left because of rocks, and it allows me to take it out without losing too much of my own HP. Tangrowth, around half health, is going to get roasted as well. It's time for me to do some roasting here, and I'm going to put Jolteon on the barbecue last of all, fry him up and serve him with some fries, some crisps in fact, I think crisps as opposed to chips, and that's going to be the game. So Darmanitan managed to clean up, and it was a relatively hacks-free game, I'd say, apart from paralysis and miss here and there, but just pretty much how I use this UU team. I use the 3 defensive pokes to kind of wear everyone down, and then bring in one of the 3 offensive guys and just push them to the maximum and kill things. So yeah, that was a pretty good example of how the team should be used, and it worked out pretty well. But that is all that's going to be from me today. So if you did enjoy, you can leave a like. That would be very helpful. That button is my friend. It is indeed. And you can check out my Twitter, my fat guy book, on my Tumblr pages. I've actually been posting a couple of diaries of how I'm playing through Skyward Sword on Tumblr, so if you want to go to my Tumblr page, you can check that out, read up my thoughts on the game, and otherwise I'll see you guys on like Thursday or like something. So like, bye, like, see ya.